Hi, I'm Mike McCormick here at GBTA Broadcast Studio in Toronto, and I'm here with Patrick Doyle from American Express Global Business Travel. Patrick, thank you for coming. So this morning you were part of an education session, a panel on virtual payments, making them a reality in travel today. Tell me a little bit about the session and what the takeaways were.
Yeah, so we had a session where we partnered with our Amex card colleagues, right, and Sabre virtually there, as well as the group from Confirma. And really it was a good way to launch kind of in the market what can happen with a virtual payment solution, right? So if you think of where the virtual payment solution fits in today, we've got a lot of travel where a traveler may not have a corporate card, right? So today, you go back and forth between hoteliers and an agency making a transaction or making the booking, and they really don't have a great solution, right? Faxing a confirmation and faxing credit card information is not what you want to do.
That doesn't work anymore.
Yeah, it doesn't fit with what travelers want or corporations need. And then the other part to it on the back end, the reconciliation, could be a nightmare.
Right.
So what we talked about and talked with the group about was really how you could integrate with a virtual payment solution, but it's not just the payment side of it, it's integrated into the booking process, right? So whether it's an agent, a telephonic reservation, or whether it's online, we've got that full integration going forward that I think the audience was impressed on how it could make their lives as a buyer a lot easier, right?
Yeah, I mean, the issues haven't changed that much, but the technologies and the environment marketplace certainly has, right? So in that case, you know, how do you, again, meeting the needs of the traveler, making their lives easier, but obviously making the program much better because you're capturing all the information, everything, right?
Yeah, one of the audience members asked a question around, you know, we talk about how this will streamline that hotel process or hotel payment process, and the experience for the traveler when they're, you know, at the hotel, where it could cover the room, taxes, and meals. But the question from the audience was good, which is where it's going to go, I think, in the future. How do you have a virtual payment solution that, you know, is programmed into the mobile device, and it can cover all the expenses relative to travel, right? So walking plastic becomes more a virtual payment solution going forward. And I think that's where we'll go with it.
Well, and mobile payment in that way is actually more secure than a card, correct?
Correct. Yeah. More controls. In our virtual solution, it's single use, right? You put the limits on it, so it is a lot more contained and controlled than more plastic out on the streets, right?
Yep. Makes sense. Logically, it makes sense. But we're so accustomed to carrying plastic, right? That's the
I think if you're a traveler, it fits with what you want and try to realize in your consumer life. Right. As a consumer, I want to make payment. You look at Apple Pay, for example, right? There's a good example, which relatively low adoption, but building. And that's kind of what your consumer's experience is. So in the corporate world, you have to figure out, and we as a TMC, we've got to figure out the right ways to bring that experience to be more consumer feel, consumer-like.
Well, and certainly, and back to the segmentation of the different travel segments, certainly for, you know, the younger demographic, you know, I mean, their adoption of those is obviously much higher personally, and then carry over into business as well.
We looked at our base of travelers. About 40% of them, probably based on the demographics, have never booked a hotel or an airline other than online.
Wow.
Right? Yeah. So that's how they live, right? That's how they work. And you've got to be able to adapt, and we as an industry have to be able to adapt for that.
Very much. So generally, you know, your purview is more than obviously just payments and the topic this morning. Just generally, for looking ahead next year, 18 months, what are you focused on from a total business travel perspective? What trends do you see coming?
From a trend perspective, I think there's going to be a few things, right? How do you continue to automate the booking experience? How do you streamline, if you do have to make a phone call to make a reservation, streamline that experience? So travelers aren't, you know, spending time getting authenticated, for example, right? So that automation, I think, is key. And then, you know, we've invested a lot of time in building out data and collecting data that we can now use through artificial intelligence to change the experience. So, you know, a good example would be installing Know-Me type technology, where, Mike, you call in to one of our offices and they know that you're en route, right? They don't have to ask, what do you need? They kind of know who you are based on your phone, phone number that comes in, and they know that, oh, Mike's in Chicago, he wasn't supposed to leave till tomorrow.
Right.
That reservation automatically pops up, and you're looking, and you can deal with the person in real time.
Right, and say, are you calling in reference to this,
Correct.
which is probably some obvious likely things that they might be calling about. As a, and as a customer, to be able to cut through all of that, not have to tell my story first before I even get to some resolution.
Agree.
Is a huge time saver.
And it fits that what they want, right? They want us to know them. They want a consumer-like experience, and they want us to be connected. So if you're a client of ours,
Yep.
We want a connection in a different way, and they want us to deal with them by the means that they like to.
Yes.
So as we bring automation into that experience, I think it enhances it for the traveler, and ultimately drives efficiencies for us as
I
well.
was going to say, not to mention the cost efficiency on your side of cutting down, so you can really focus your time and the touch points in the places where they matter most.
Agree.
Yeah. Well, great insight, Patrick. Thank you for your time and certainly your
Mike.
participation here. I'm Mike McCormick, live from GBTA Studios here in Toronto.